It is not too much to say that the Bible was our all in all. Without that book, life would hardly have been worth living in a small old-fashioned community in the Netherlands. The Bible and commentary on the biblical text, in homilies from half a dozen pulpits 3 times every Sunday, in weekly catechism classes, daily at home and in the schoolroom, took the place of the theatre, concerts, literature and art, and other vain diversions of the human spirit, in vogue in other more worldly countries and communities. Men talked for weeks on end about a sermon they had heard. In our home, and in the homes of relatives and friends, conversations and discussions, sometimes heatedly and with fierce polemical fervor, often went on far into the night on such topics as predestination, justification by faith, sanctification and the redemptive qualities of Jesus' blood. Merchants, costermongers, learned divines, bricklayers, hucksters, and the most notable burghers of the town took part in that perpetual debate, and all were in dead earnest. Certain enlightened women too, mothers in Israel they were called, occasionally took a hand in the controversies, although their opinions, it must be said, were held of little account by those of the elders and ministers who quoted from the misogynist St. Paul about silly little women creeping into houses, forever teaching but never able to come to the knowledge of truth. That was as good an argument as any against female pretensions in the sacred and ecclesiastical sphere. We pitied the handful of modernists and Unitarians and such like benighted heathen, whose scholars at the great universities of Leiden, Utrecht and Amsterdam had dared to lay hands on our Bible for the purpose, as we were given to understand, of tearing it to pieces and destroying the hope of the world. Citizens who went to listen to sermons preached by modernists and Unitarians were those unfortunate, blind led by the blind, who are mentioned in the New Testament as being of a certainty headed for the pit. That these savants might be earnestly searching for the truth in attempting to separate the dross from the gold, myths from facts, hoary tribal legends from actual happenings, allegories, symbols and dogmas from objective historical data, never entered our minds. The true ministers of the Word of God saw to that. They denounced a critical approach to the sources of the faith once delivered to the saints as a satanic device to destroy that faith. They threatened would-be hearers of the liberal divines with hellfire and damnation, and frightened the respectable bourgeois with predictions of anarchy, red radicalism and revolution to follow in the wake of a weakening of faith in the Bible. They used all the tricks the medieval monks applied to keep the peasantry in the thrall of feudalism,